Okay, gals, where are we and what are we up to?
We're in Berry County, Michigan on a North Country trail. I brought you guys here because they've got some beautiful pines and I can help teach you about the pines here in Michigan, Southwest Michigan.
That's exactly what I want to do. I want to learn about the pines.
If you want to find fatwood, it's important that you learn about pines and the difference between a pine and a spruce and a cedar, all your different evergreens. We even have some tamarack pines over in the wetlands over here I hope to show you too.
Okay, sounds good. Let's get down that NCT trail and
Yeah.
check it out.
Let's go down the trail and check out the pines.
All right.
So I'm bringing you over here because we have a red pine, a couple red pines, and even a Scots pine over here that aren't surrounded by other trees, which cause the branches to grow bigger. I'll show you later in a forest where the trees are so tall there's no branches. I'm bringing you over here because these trees are in the open and you'll get to see bigger branches.
Okay, let's have you point that out then. Flip
Yes.
this around.
So over here we have a red pine. These red pine branches are quite big because they all get sunlight. You can recognize this as a red pine because of its puzzle piece bark. It's got a little bit of tan and red in the bark. And your pine needles over here are big and bushy.
Big and bushy.
Yep, spiky balls is what you'll recognize when you have a red pine. They're 5-inch long needles and they snap when you break them. There's a red pine. Over here I'm going to show you a Scotch pine, and it's got really big thick branches because there's sun all the way around it.
Okay.
Now Lisa just asked me what kind of pine can you make tea out of. You can make tea out of any pine except for ponderosa pine, yew, and I think Norfolk pine, not too familiar with. Here you don't have to worry about it. I recommend white pine. White pine needles for tea and use plenty.
Right. Okay, so let's get a close-up of this.
This here is red pine.
This is a red pine.
Yep, this here is red pine. White pine has 5 needles, red pine has 2, and so do the rest of the pines here that we're going to be looking at. The thing about red pine needles is they're 5 inches long and they snap when you bend them. The other needles are soft and they don't snap. There's a red pine.
Oh, yeah. Very educational. Very educational. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go over here. So I thought this was a Scots pine over here. It turns
This
out
one?
to be a red pine.
That one's a red pine.
Yep, if only I could grab them needles. So over here's a Scots pine. The needles are shorter, and you see the orange on the bark? I know we have the sun against us, but that orange on the bark is where your Scots pine's at. That's how you recognize your Scots pine. And the needles are only 2 inches long.
So they're short on a Scotch pine.
Right. Needles are short on a Scots pine. Okay, right here, get real close. See this Scots pine cone?
Yes.
This pine cone points back at the tree. Now, jack pine are almost identical to Scots pine, but their cones point away from the tree. They also have short 2-inch needles with only 2 needles in a bundle. Scots pine needles twist. Jack pine needles don't. I'll be showing you jack pine here real soon. That's how you tell the difference. And jack pine doesn't have orange. So Scots pine has orange, 2 needles, 2 inches long with a twist in the needle, and the cones point towards the Scots pine tree. I'm going to show you some jack pine where the cones point away from the tree and the 2-inch needles don't twist.
Dang. Very educational. Very good.
Thank you.
Well done. What did you find?
This right here is a cedar, a young cedar. Since we're talking about evergreens, this is your cedar, and there's cedar everywhere, and this is most likely a red cedar. All around here is all red cedar. I'll be showing you some big ones.
Right. Cool. Cool.
Okay, I'm going to show you a better sample of jack pine later on. I call this octopus pine. When you look at the branches, unlike the rest of the pines, they go upward, and they don't just go upward, but they kind of go down, and it just gets kind of crazy. The bark is not puzzle piece bark like the Scots pine, red pine, or Austrian pine. The bark is almost like a white pine. It's just like a regular bark. Right here we have, right, follow me.
Okay.
Right here we have the needles, and like I said, with the Scots pine, the cones point towards the tree. With the jack pine, the cones point away from the tree. And they're 2-inch needles. I can get rid of those. Those are 2-inch needles, just like the Scots pine. Jack pine and Scots pine are almost identical except for the bark and the cones. That's your Scots pine. Also, these cones only open in extreme sunlight or fire. So these trees will not plant if they're in a shady area and there's no fire. I know of a place where they've all died off. Okay, like I said, the sun isn't quite in our favor, but I've stood here and done a video before because you're able to see Scots pine, jack pine, red pine. No white pine or Austrian pine here, but you've got 3 different types of pines in this one spot, and that's why I brought you guys here. So we're gonna go look for another tangly octopus pine.
What are you doing over there? Taking pictures?
I heard a picture
I
shutter.
got pictures of all of you guys filming and talking too. So
Whoa,
I'll post them on Facebook.
there's a big old stump in there, man.
Huh?
Yes.
She films everything.
I like taking pictures.
Yeah, that's
Man,
a Scots
look at those
pine right there.
flowers. Woo, pretty.
Look at the size of this stump. Bummer, it's not a pine. If it is, it's a jack pine. It's pretty rotten. Definitely not Fatwood worthy. Another cedar. This one here's red pine. That's some killer Fatwood if you wanted some. Huge branches of Fatwood on that sucker. So I've noticed a lot when people go Fatwood hunting, they go after these dead brown branches. When you see that brown color, that means the water's been penetrating the wood and it's gotten wet. If it's got resin in it, it's not going to get wet. Resin renders your Fatwood waterproof.
Right.
So stuff like this, no good.
No good.
But right here,
Up
you've
close.
got a gray color. You've got gray up here. You've got some great specimens, but a lot of rot. So you definitely want to cut close to the tree and about 6 inches up. This is some really good Fatwood. I don't usually see that much brown,
Right.
but that's what you don't want.
Right.
That color right there, if that's all you're finding, you got to find some gray, and we'll talk about that again soon.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, what did you find?
I found us a jack pine, aka octopus pine, right here.
And why would they call it an octopus?
I call it an
Okay.
octopus pine because most pines, the branches grow out this way.
Right.
With the jack pine,
Right.
the branches go upward, and a lot of these grow up and down, and they're just so crazy, it reminds me of an octopus.
Okay. that
Jack
makes sense.
pine's not the best for Fatwood. You tend to get dry in the middle, and the resin doesn't go up very high, so if you're looking for very rich Fatwood, jack pine's not going to deliver,
Right.
but it's still a great Fatwood, and
Right.
it smells sweet.
Right.
It's good to have some dry wood in your Fatwood because then you have a dry tinder and a fire ignition resinous pine.
Right.
It's good to have both. Let's head down the road to the tall pines.
All right. That's all we need to do over here. We're heading back to the car and we're going down the road.
I feel like I'm on a field trip.
Field trip, field trip. I feel like I'm back in school and we're getting educated.
Yay!
Yay. Share the knowledge, share the power. We're back at the car getting ready to head down the road, so we'll catch you in a minute.
Okay, when you go to a nature trail like this, you need to make sure you read the rules and regulations.
Right.
Oftentimes the fine print is on the back, and I've checked. It
Right.
is. So you got to make sure you read your rules and regulations before you go cutting on any trees.
Right.
Okay.
because some of them are protected.
Yes, and you can get a $100 fine for lighting a tree on fire.
Right.
Only $100 though.
Yeah.
burn.
Keep it burning? Did I hear keep it burning or not? No? What did you find?
I found some pine knots on the ground. This here is a tree skeleton. It's most likely red pine,
Right.
and there's two really big pine knots on here. This is really good fatwood right here. I don't know if this would break off or not. Yeah, there you go. Nice gray.
Bring it up close.
There you go. It's heavy.
Oh, I remember saying something about this here twisting. Will it twist around?
Oh, that's different. That's
Oh.
the twist of a pine knot.
Oh,
The
okay.
twisting sapwood is on Austrian pine, and you'll get to see that when we go across the street.
Okay.
But that there's a free pine knot. I'd recommend cutting it here and keeping the rest and processing it into sticks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, some nice pieces here. So I brought you here to show you the tall trees, and I'll explain why in a minute. See that beautiful gray color?
Yeah.
Get a look at this one here, right there. Those are pine knots. Oh, get this one right there. Yeah, that's fatwood.
Fatwood.
Now I brought these guys into this forest because this forest has tall, straight trees, which are really hard to find fatwood.
Colored gray
They don't have
wood in it.
enough sunlight to get big branches.
Have to saw for these ones.
Looks like
Right.
somebody's cut this one.
You probably collect a lot of that. Why do they call you the Booger King?
Well, I like to collect the tree sap on the pines, and we call it tree boogers.
Right.
So I gather that and use it for like fire starting, fire making pine pitch.
Cool.
Use it for glue, stuff like that.
Cool.
And he's with the Fatwood Queen.
There you go.
Right here, I consider low quality fatwood. If this is all you have to work with, it'll work. But when you're out fatwood hunting, oftentimes you get this color.
Right.
It's pretty dry.
Yeah,
You
don't
can
have
get
any resin.
Right. You can get a fatwood fire. You could get a fire started with this. You could get a fire started with this, but
It's not the best quality. It's like some of the stuff that I was finding, right?
right.
Kinda.
Yeah.
And that's why we come out here to meet up, is to get more educated on what to look for.
That's
And
right.
you're bringing it to us for educational purposes to learn more about fatwood and what to look for.
Right. This is pretty punky fatwood.
Punky fatwood, yeah.
Yep. Punk wood is very light wood that's brown and rotted away, and it makes really good char material. You can char punk wood
Right. Do you have some charred punk wood?
at home.
All right. So we're heading down the trail to see who's naughty or who's nice on the checklist.
That's right.
That's right.
And I've been nice and naughty.
Okay. And what are we actually, where are we headed? What are we looking for?
We are looking for this right here.
Okay.
When you-
Ta-da!
When you come to a forest where it's like a plantation where all the trees are really close together,
Right.
you're going to get a long, tall, straight pole, and you're not going to get any big, bushy branches. So if you're looking for fatwood, I recommend avoiding these areas. You're not going to find much. I wouldn't completely avoid it, especially if you're new.
Right.
When you come to a place like this where they're so tall and there's no big branches, all you got to do is walk the perimeter, follow the tree line where the sun is, and you'll find bigger branches, and you might even find cool knots on the ground.
Yeah. Cool knots.
Yeah. All right. Sometimes you can find fatwood in a stump. Look for the color. If it's wet like this, it's probably no good. And the good thing is, this has a killer pine knot on it, and it's gray, and it's very solid, lightly solid.
So that one's good, except for the rotted part. So
Right.
you got a little piece that you could cut off that would be actually pretty good then?
Yes, but as far as finding it in the stump, It's not hard.
Right.
Kick the stump. If it's hard as a rock and it's gray, you found gold.
Gold mine.
There's a pine knot, believe, for anyone who wants it.
Alrighty. So my question would be is what drove you to be the Fatwood Queen, and what is your fascination with creating fire and keeping it burning?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, keeping it burning. And where did you come up with this idea of just going out and searching for fatwood?
Well,
Where did it all start?
I was new to YouTube. I only watched videos. I didn't have a channel yet.
Right.
And I saw a Fatwood video from Aaron Nelson and a Fatwood video from Nathan4071. I left comments. And when it came time to make my first video, everyone was right there. Hey, nice to meet you. And I'm like, I'm going to get out and I'm going to find that stuff because it looks cool. So I took my little camera out, went out there, didn't have much luck, but everybody commented and everyone said, go back over here, look over there. Next thing you know, I'm so fascinated by the color and the fire that I'm just learning everything I can about it. And I didn't know hardly anything about the difference between pine and spruce. So I was on a mission to figure that out. I've been fascinated by trees my whole life.
Oh,
and
very
it's been
interesting.
Sailing away ever since.
So what would your advice to the viewers be? Would it be keep it burning?
Keep it burning. And keep it burning means a whole lot more than
Right.
just lighting up a fire. It means
Right.
keep hope alive.
Okay. Sounds
Keep the fires
good.
burning.
You got that right on.
That's right. Let's opt. But that's the sign of an Austrian pine. That's how they grow. They often do that. They get so tall and then they flatten out on top. We're going into the Austrian pines. Let's go.
All right, let's go check it out. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna want you guys to pan up on this tree. This is a very healthy Austrian pine. It's very green, strong, and healthy. It's got the flat top on it. And I'll show you a better example of the bark when we go into the woods some. That's a very beautiful Austrian pine, also known as black pine, European black pine. Let's head into the woods. Since we're identifying trees today, this here is an Austrian pine. You tend to get a silvery bark. This is also a puzzle piece bark. Many pines have puzzle piece bark.
So if we get up real close,
Yep.
it
They
does
look
look like
puzzle
it does
pieces.
look like a puzzle piece,
Yep. And from a distance you get a silvery color
right?
and black furrows. And that's typically how you identify an Austrian pine. Plus the topped part of the tree where it flattens out and the needles tend to go out like a fan, unlike a red pine that's a spiky ball. Austrian pine have pine needles that fan out. And they got cool cones too. This can be easily confused with red pine. So it's real easy to confuse the Austrian pine with a red pine. Red pine is native to Michigan. White pine is native to Michigan. Austrian pine, Scots pine, not native. Jack pine I do believe, but it's more common in Canada. Austrian pine, and these are beautiful. Since we're learning about evergreens today, it's easy to confuse a spruce with a pine. Spruces have tubular cones. This here is a Norway spruce. See that?
I wonder if that's any good for like making tea out of.
Yes, you can make spruce tea. Well, let me show you down here. I'm going to grab a spruce cone. It's important to know that spruce cones are papery while pine cones are woody. I'll see if I can find you a nice woody Austrian pine cone here in a minute.
Right.
But anytime you see a spruce, you'll know it's a spruce if it's like a cone. If the tree is shaped at a point like a cone, like a typical Christmas tree, it's probably a spruce, not a pine.
Okay. So, SHLISA, I was just curious, what exactly is fatwood anyways, for people that don't really know? What is fatwood?
Fatwood is pine wood. packed full of resin. The resin in a tree is like a blood clot. It keeps diseases from getting in. So fatwood is pine wood rich with resin. And when the branches die, it's filled with resin.
It's kind of like protecting itself then.
Yes. Yep.
Kind of like healing a wound.
That's exactly what it is, like a blood clot.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that, because some people may not actually know. Look at that one. Bring that up close, dear.
That one smells super good.
Let's peek at that one. Ooh. Smells good.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it burning.
Keep it burning. Okay, to tell if your branch has fatwood or not, you can slice right into it.
Oh, look at that. Looks like gold.
Black gold. This here is Austrian pine fatwood. Anytime you're looking for fatwood and you want to check it, take your knife, scrape it. Or you can take the back of your saw or your knife. You want to see how high up the resin goes? You listen to the different sounds. That's your fatwood. Austrian pine. Best stuff ever.
That's what the best stuff ever looks like, right there.
Take a whiff. Oh yeah. Okay, now when you decide to take your branch, you want to cut the dry end off first. Now notice how dry that Maya dust was? It's more like sawdust. It just flies away. That's because it's dry.
That's a pretty good saw.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I call it the Ripper. Now watch the Maya dust change. It's going to be clumpy.
Like it.
I got to be careful because I don't want to get my hand with the other. There you go. It's not the richest stuff I've seen.
Not bad.
Smells beautiful. Cut the dry end off. Cut close to the tree. I didn't cut this part because it's too much work with that sapwood.
Right. What do you recommend to use to saw fatwood?
I recommend most to get yourself a curved pruning saw that's pull only, not a push saw. Because when you push, it gets the Maya dust off, and when you pull, it shreds. And the curve helps a whole lot. Makes a world of difference. I'm going to cut this piece here and here, and I'm going to have Lisa do it for me.
All right.
First, I'm going to get this off for you. Pretty dry. I'll get this one started. See how thick that Maya dust is?
Yeah.
After you, Lisa.
Maybe not.
I think Sasquatch threw his water bottle at you.
Definitely not in shape to do this.
Yeah, you almost got it.
She got it.
Maybe.
Oh, wow. Hold it down.
Ta-da! You did it.
She did it.
Yay!
Now show this incredibly cool tree on the ground.
So, what do you think?
I think these are some beautiful pine knots, especially down there by Lisa.
Ta-da! You did it.
There, I got you started. I gotta go get my stuff I left over there.
She wants to get it. So.
Whew, I needed a break for a minute anyways.
Yeah, you got to pace yourself out here. That's why I spend hours. Because I stop
For
and I have
cutting
to cool
something
down.
like this off, you deserve at least $6 or $8 for a piece. That's a lot of work.
It is. Keeps me in shape. I'm still in shape.
Breathing hard thinking about it.
I'm not in shape for this stuff.
It used to get to me when people would comment about me breathing hard. And I saw the young, healthy people, huffing and puffing. I'd be proud of breathing hard.
Well,
Here
I'm
we
working.
go. He's going to saw himself some fatwood.
I'm working on it.
Look at that Maya dust. My goodness. Oh boy, here it comes.
Woo!
Voila.
Wow.
Look at that.
Pretty red.
Hey.
Wait. Trees. Trees.
Trees! Not cheese, but trees!
Trees. Smell.
Smells good.
Are you keeping it burning?
I'm going to keep it burning.
You're going to keep it burning now. Look at that smile.
All right.
Look at all them pine knots.
Now you're gonna have to buy me a saw so we can go and see if we can.
I know. This is the kind of saw we need right here.
Where'd you get this saw from?
I'll
Yeah.
tell you in a second. We got, by the way, this is Norway spruce bark.
Okay, my question was about the saw.
I get these saws just about anywhere. It's a regular pruning saw.
Right.
This specific one I got from Amazon. It came with a free blade replacement. Hey, can't get much better than that.
No.
Now, folding saws. They're awesome too, but if you're doing some serious fatwood hunting and you're doing some serious sawing,
What I
this
had
mechanism's gonna
that's
weaken.
that's what I had happened to me too.
You're
That
gonna
right
wear
there.
it out.
Yep, it happened to me, and I didn't even have it that long.
You've got to tighten these regularly. You got to
Yeah.
take care of your stuff and keep them clean.
Right.
Best way to clean these is with rubbing alcohol, hand sanitizer. Purple Power works the best. Thank you for whoever recommended Purple Power to me, because I always clean my saws before I head out, and I just couldn't get them clean this time. And I remembered the Purple Power, and boom, came right off. So you get the sticky resin off of your blades with Purple Power, rubbing alcohol. Some people even use tannin oil.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, what do we got going on here?
And here's another addition to fatwood hunting if you wanted to get into pine pitch collecting. I call it pine tree boogers. But anyway, this is spruce, and any pine pitch will work. But when you go to harvest these with spruce, you got to be careful because it's the softest of them all. The other ones were hard, you can just pick them right off.
And what is it used for?
It's also used for glue, violin rosin for the bow, waterproofing. There's many things you can do with it. Fire starting, you can rub it on a piece of birch or whatever.
Highly flammable.
Yes, very flammable.
All right, thanks for finding that for us and explaining it to us. I
Welcome.
greatly appreciate it.
All right, we've talked about finding fatwood in stumps.
Right.
This stump right here, fatwood. This log up above, fatwood. You can tell by the flakiness. And if you come up really close down here, you can see all the resin. Get a nice close-up of that.
Right there.
Yep. And watch me slice into it.
Oh, look at that color.
There you go. Then this is red pine.
Red pine.
Yep. Did you get the sap on top?
Oh, I didn't.
Sap
Yeah.
always collects at the cut.
Right.
Let's go in the woods.
All right. We're heading to the woods.
Check it out. A loose pine knot. That thing weighs a ton. That's all fatwood.
Fatwood.
All right, here's some nice fatwood. Right here. If I can cut at that angle.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Funny angle, huh? I'm gonna go ahead and saw this one off for you. Take that spike off first, save you the knots.
Easy peasy.
There you go, twist it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
How's it smell?
Oh my God. Come over here and smell that. It smells good.
Yeah.
Throw this one in there.
Throw that one in the bag. Hopefully it don't poke you. Okay, I'm gonna get this one right here. It's got knots on it though. Get this one off on here and saw
We
this
got
thing.
some baby fatwood.
I'm gonna have my back to you.
Okay.
I gotta change position. This one's gonna take a minute. Gotta watch your footing when you're doing this. This one's gonna take a little longer. Now the trick to sawing fatwood, don't saw the same direction. Saw this way, saw that way. Bring your handle down and pull it. And then you go up, get the front. Then you come down again.
Pretty soon you have success. Let's look at that one. Look at that gold. Woo! That's a $15 piece right there.
That's about a $9 piece.
Okay, I'm close.
And it's yours. Catch.
Oh, well, thank you. Look at that.
Keep it burning. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Ta-da!
Nice and rich. High octane Michigan gold red pine.
There you go. Well, guys, this concludes today's video with SHILISA shell, the Fatwood Queen. She brought us out here to be educated, learn a few things. Got us some pretty neat fatwood. We had a great time. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please smash the thumbs up. Till next time, my friends, cut.
Keep it burning.
Keep it burning.
Keep it burning.